you guys, and welcome back to our channel. My name is Yasa. I'm a violinist, and I moved to the United States 10 years ago, almost 9 and something. I like to exaggerate, as you noticed. And I'm telling you my story, the journey of moving countries, but also I think very important mission that I found by doing this, bringing awareness about different cultures, because I truly think that right now we are so sensitive about the topic of tolerance, about topic of immigration, and what we don't know, we are a bit afraid of and thinking maybe in less positive terms. So I just want you guys to know us. We are coming from all over the world, and we are people worth knowing. And I think anyone will be lucky to know my sister, Claudia. Hello, Claudia.
Hi.
Claudia lives in Finland. She is my little Finnish sister. But today we wanted to talk about her experience of studying in London. She's that cool, guys. She studied in London. And I want to ask her, how was it expensive to live there, and what does she think about England in general? So, sis, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me again. We should probably clarify again that we're actually cousins, but we regard each other as sisters.
Oh, yeah. It's lost in translation.
Yeah, I'm good,
I can see that you're in a New Year's spirit, very high spirits.
Trying to be.
That's great. And
very high spirits. It can't get much worse than last year, I hope. Or these are like famous last words, and next year is going to be terrible. No, hopefully it's going to be better.
It's going to be definitely better. And you said that it's snowing in Finland right now, and you enjoyed it.
I was just out enjoying the snow.
Great, that's great.
Yeah.
And Clash, tell me about your experience in London. How many years have you studied in England?
It was actually only 1 year, one academic year. It was 2013 to 2014, and it was through this Erasmus exchange. I was studying at the time TV and film production here in Helsinki at a university, and then I decided I'll go study film in London through this official exchange program.
Wonderful. And what was the first thing that was so different from Finland, so different from Russia, that shocked you and in London? The first thing you noticed, like, oh.
This is maybe not the first thing well, the architecture, I guess, like especially the houses people live in. So it's these sort of townhouses attached next to each other, like attached and semi-attached houses. And the most memorable thing, I guess, is that the weather there is quite it's sort of damp and stuff, and I was just surprised by how the houses are built, and in comparison to Finland especially, where a lot of attention is paid to how the houses are built because of the sort of grim winters here. It was just, the standard was very different there, and it was sort of damp and cold also indoors. And I think it's a pretty typical thing in England and in London. And another thing was, I guess the rent and how like adults live. It's so expensive in London that working adults live in like house shares, so with roommates, and so did I. Yeah, I had a room in a house which I shared with 8 other people, and I paid £700 for a room. And that room was damp and had mold. It was a nice room, but it had mold. And so I guess that's the sort of living standard, and how expensive it is to live despite the living standards is what sort of shocked me maybe the most. or was required some adjusting?
We are very familiar with the mold here in Florida. You know, if you don't run your AC constantly, and if it doesn't work properly and doesn't go to all the corners of your house, it's so easy to get mold here. I dealt with mold in multiple apartments here. So I understand. And it's not a good thing. It's not healthy, specifically, you know, for singers or people who work with their voices. It was it damper and colder than in Finland? We used to consider in Finland cold.
No. Of course, it's slightly warmer there, but just here in Finland, when you're indoors, it's completely dry. Like all the houses, all the buildings are very like high tech, very like advanced sort of engineering. You know, triple glazed or whatever the word is, like windows, no mold. You know, perfectly tuned. You know, air conditioning and everything. So there's no problems with mold or anything like that, you know, in modern houses. So it was just a big contrast to London. Weather-wise, well, I guess it's rainier there.
Oh, true. Yes, it's an island, right? So we consider it an island of rain, right? And those clouds, always that understanding of London is being moody and cloudy. Clash. Well, jumping off the topic a little bit, I want to ask you about Finland and about the tradition that you guys have of having saunas in the apartment. Is it true that every apartment building and sometimes almost every house, almost every apartment has its own little sauna? And what is sauna?
It's very common. There was actually some statistic I recently read, but now I don't remember, but it was a shocking amount of saunas. So yeah, it's sort of customary and kind of standard to each apartment has its own sauna. Of course, not all have, and not all the people I know have saunas in their apartments, but we have, and we had in our previous apartment. So yeah, it's very common. It's like, it's just, there's millions and millions and millions of homes and apartments and that have saunas in Finland. I think, I don't remember the statistic. It's unfortunate.
What is it, Clash?
The statistic?
For people who don't know what sauna is. We don't know it.
Well, sauna, well, how do I explain it? It's sauna, you know, small, it's, you know, it's not, what is it? It's not fireplace. What is it called?
Room?
Steam room, I guess, yeah. With sort of a wooden room with a sort of oven and that heats up either, well, in most apartments it's electric, heats up rocks and then you throw water on it and you sit there in 80 degrees Celsius. What is that in Fahrenheit?
Oh, I have no idea. And what does it do for you? Is it a good thing to get sweaty and just get all the, you know?
Well, it's supposed to be healthy. It's supposed to, you know, kind of cleanse you of toxins. You know, you sweat them out. Good for the immune system. Good for the respiratory tract, for your lungs, for breathing, for like opening up the airways. So it has many different benefits. And I think there's also some studies about, I think it's called heat shock protein, like something your body produces in sort of extreme heat, which is also beneficial for your health. So
do you guys use for the respiratory system, do you guys use essential oil?
You can there are like aromas and stuff that you can add to the water that you throw on the rocks. Mm-hmm. So we do that. Like, what do we have? Well, there's bird smell.
Oh.
Eucalyptus. Is that how it's pronounced in English? I've never had to pronounce that in English.
That's good enough for me.
Yeah. It's weird. Like some words, you know, you think them a lot, but I never had to pronounce them in English. So then when I have to, it's like, wait a minute, how do I pronounce this? Yeah.
Absolutely. Especially the star systems, you know, galaxies. You know, we say Orion, and in English it's Orion, and things like that. I always get.
I don't know how it's like. How do you know Erasmus or whatever. For me, it's Erasmus. So I have no idea if it's Erasmus or what it is in English, I guess.
Well, as long as I understand you.
Yeah.
It's just us. Wonderful, Clash. I wanted to mention that in Russia we have something similar. We call it banya, and it's also a steam room. I think the difference is that I think we make it more humid. I think sauna is supposed to be more damp, more dry. And I think banya is supposed to be more humid. And I think we also use
the birch thingies.
Birch thingies, branches, and we kind of hit each other with those branches, right?
We do that too, and it's humid in the sauna. It's not dry.
Oh, okay. It's an acupuncture
I think it's
kind of thing.
Yeah, they sell. You can go to any supermarket and buy that birch thingy.
What a wonderful language English is, right? If you don't know the word, you can just say thingy. And
thingy, yeah.
Perfect. We
birch branches, I don't know. Birch bouquet, birch branches.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. We don't have a similar word for thingy in Russian. You have to really know the word to make sense.
I'll just say shtuka.
Oh, okay.
Isn't that the same as thingy?
Yeah, but I rarely hear anyone say that in Russian. In English, a lot of people could use that thing, that thing. Yeah. Well, very interesting. And coming back to London, did you have time to go around and see places? Did you travel out of London? Did you go to any other cities in England?
Yes. Well, in terms of out of London, I can recommend, and where I traveled, it's Brighton. So it's on the coast, very nice town with a nice shoreline beach. It's quite a short train ride from London. And then, the just very atmospheric, sort of nice university towns. Oxford I visited, and then there's Cambridge. I didn't visit Cambridge, but I can imagine it's, similar to Oxford, like cobblestone roads or paths and historic buildings.
Oh, I love it.
And then, Stonehenge is a must. I visited.
Is it impressive in person?
Mysterious.
You feel it?
I mean, of course, it's impressive when you start, thinking like, how did these rocks get here, and what did they mean, and things like that.
Is it the aliens?
I don't know, but I think actually I read some. Who knows? I read some article that they've sort of have discovered how they ended up there, but I forgot already. But it's worth a visit, definitely. I mean, of course, if you're visiting London or England, you should visit Stonehenge.
Is it a long trip from London? Is it a day trip?
Honestly, I don't remember. Not too long. Stonehenge, yeah, not too long. I honestly don't remember. It's like 6 years ago. Yeah, I traveled also to Manchester, but I guess it's a nice place to visit, but not if you have a week in London. Probably best to stay in London and close by, because that's a bit further up north. And in London, well, a must is to go see a musical in West End.
Oh, wow.
It's just a must. If it's, to me, that's like number one activity to do.
Oh, wow.
London. And of course, there's so many sites, so many things to see.
What did you see what did you see there?
Well, I saw Wicked, which is a sort of a prequel to Wizard of Oz, and then I saw Bodyguard with Whitney Houston songs.
Oh, yes.
And I probably saw some other stuff too, but I don't. Well, that was actually later on. I saw the latest Harry Potter musical.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but that was after.
How was it?
It was good. I was a little tipsy, so I don't remember everything.
Too much butterbeer.
Very high. Sorry?
Too much butterbeer?
Yeah. They had nice drinks, in the breaks between.
Oh, talk to me about drinks. I know that, English famous for British, famous for liking alcohol, right? And everyone knows that. Is it a big culture there?
I mean, I wasn't huge. I wasn't like a part of it. I went out like only a few times, but I guess they do. There is like a strong pub culture and
right.
and beer culture, and
Right.
we did go a few times to the local Irish pub with my classmates.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't really spend much time in bars and pubs, so I can't.
Of course.
Yeah.
Talk to me about food. Was it delicious? What do you remember?
Honestly, I mean, I had the obligatory fish and chips a couple of times because it feels like you can't, live in live in London for almost a year and not have some fish and chips. But honestly, it's nothing very memorable. My favorite. I mean, it's good food and everything, but I guess I didn't maybe pay too much attention to the cuisine. The only thing there's like a chain of cafes called Costa,
Mm-hmm.
which is sort of like Starbucks. I don't know if I don't think you have it in the States, or do you?
We don't, but I think I've seen it in Finland. No?
No, we don't have. So it's sort of.
So I've seen it somewhere. I've seen it somewhere outside of England because I've never been in England.
Yeah.
I've seen that chain.
Yeah, so that became my favorite place, and they had there this chocolate tiffin sort of cookie thingy that was like coffee with that was just amazing. I had their loyalty card and everything.
Of course. I would get it first thing. first day in new country, just get the loyalty card in a cafe.
Yeah. Oh, I guess, and another thing I really liked is shortbread. That's I think a very British thing, shortbread.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I was more like into sweets than other
I'm the
dishes.
Same. I'm the same. My favorite thing in the world is to talk about sweets. I don't eat much, but talking about it and dreaming about it, it's just, I'm in heaven. Clash, do they have Starbucks there too?
They have, yeah, they have. But I think that Costa is more sort of, there are more of them.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one in my neighborhood where I lived, so.
What about Finland? I know you guys have Starbucks, but you have your own chain that I much, much prefer because I think the coffee there just the most delicious coffee in the world. I don't know what is it. Is it the milk? Maybe the milk is just so good.
I don't even want to name that chain. I don't want to give it any more advertisement because it has taken over everything. It's just complete monopoly here. Like it has taken over everything. All coffee houses are turning into this chain. And honestly, it's great. I love it. But like I'm getting a little bit sick of always going to, it's called Espresso House.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, well, yeah, there are other ones too. Like there's a Finnish one called Robert's Coffee.
Oh, so I like Robert's Coffee.
Maybe you meant Robert's Coffee, but Espresso House is taking over like everything, and it's becoming a little old.
I see. Yeah, I like the Robert's Coffee. I think, isn't the place where they have like huge cappuccino, like you can take double cappuccino and it comes like in a huge bowl, like a soup bowl. And it's my favorite thing. I think we met there one year and we were just sitting like for hours, just having more and more of those. And it's just amazing. The milk, I guess, the milk makes all the difference because the milk, Finland is very nature country. You have like thousands of lakes, right? And very foresty. And just the environment is so clean and pristine. And the dairy products are just out of this world.
You think so?
I do think so, Clash. I think it's better than in Russia even. And, Russia is really a dairy country. And, I'm crazy about dairy products. Here in US, it's so hard to find good dairy products. The only yogurt that I like here is Greek yogurt, which is, Greek, so it's not even American. But yogurt here is very, 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 very sweet. impossibly
Is
sweet.
there anything that it's unsweetened?
Yes, the Greek yogurt. That's the only yogurt that is unsweetened, and it's thicker and it's good, and that's the only one I get. And you can add your own flavors to make it sweeter, but if you get sweet yogurt, it's just too much. And they don't have the variety that we have. They don't have those drinking yogurts that we have.
Yeah.
They don't have tvorog. They don't have cottage cheese the way that we like it.
Yeah.
Well, oh well, I adjusted. I make syrinki almost every day, and
But I'm sure there's some, Russian cuisine sort of shop there where you can buy your.
I do. We have Russian stores. We have international stores, so that's where I get the cottage cheese. I also kind of make use of cottage cheese in general stores, but what I do, I mix it with. We have for the sweetener, I add applesauce. So the one product that I really like here that I don't see anywhere else is applesauce. So it's basically just apples mashed, and it's just perfect because you can get it unsweetened and it's already sweet. So it's not unhealthy, and it's very delicious. So I mix that with, tvorog cottage cheese with eggs and maybe a bit of flour, cinnamon, and maybe a bit of honey if I need to, and just fry it. It's perfect. Perfect.
Sounds delicious.
That's my taste of home, that whenever I'm nostalgic. Clash, I don't know if you have the same, probably not, because you moved when you were a very little kid. But at first when I moved here, I wanted to be American. Like I wanted to be as far from my roots as possible. I've always spoke English. I didn't have nostalgia about any Russian food or anything because, I just came from there, right? I really wanted to be American. Now, 10 years in, I'm so proud and so comfortable being Russian. Like, I like that. I tell people that I am. I like my accent. I like looking for all the food, all the things that remind me of home.
But that's great. It's great that you...
Yeah, I think that's the growth process because I am already becoming American, but I'm embracing my roots too. I'm embracing my culture where I grew up. And I think it's really great to be in this mature level when you can do both. Because I think as immigrants, a lot of people struggle with that balance. It's either one side or the other. It's either too much of staying in your culture where you grew up and you never assimilate, or maybe you completely forget your roots, and that's not good too, right? Because there are a lot of great lessons and greatness in Russia, in Russian culture. I truly believe that. What about?
If you want to know more, please stay tuned for the next episode. See you soon. Пока. Bye.